everyone, and welcome to the thrilling 13th episode of the Pubcast. I am your host, Dale Coulis. Doing a bit different this show, I am going it alone. Chris is not here this week, and I know shows have been rolling out a little bit more slower this summer so far, the past month. Chris has kind of been a little bit busy. He does the editing usually before the show goes up. Not that our editing or shows are that great or anything, but he does. If it's not for him, trust me, the shows would sound a lot worse. But yeah, he's been really busy a lot lately, so it's hard for him to get around to editing the shows as usual. And I thought I'd do things a bit different and host a show and just try and do one by myself. Just do it every now and then, kind of give the show a fresher take every now and then. So I hope things go well for this show. Hopefully you like it. Let me know how it is. Just want to start things off with saying a quick thanks for Brett of the Wicked Pizza Podcast for being a special guest last week on the last show. I thought it turned out great, and I was just glad he was able to join me for it. Make sure to check out his podcast. It can be found off newworldpodcasts.com. So much thanks again for him popping up on the show, and got a few topics I'd like to go over on the show today. First one I want to talk about is demo discs. They haven't been that much of a focus for me as they used to be in the past. Before, I used to play them a lot. They used to be a main focus for me getting the official Xbox magazine or the official PlayStation magazine, but not so much anymore. And a reason for that being is because demos off Xbox Live, they're right there available right when they come out, and I can play them at my own desire right away instead of waiting forever or after the game is out, as it usually was the case with the magazine demo disc. I really like how I could play the demos right away on Xbox Live, at least a few weeks in advance of the game coming out. Now, when I get a copy of OXM or OPM in the mail, almost all the demos on there I have already played off Xbox Live, and I think a lot of people are the same way. I don't think I'm wrong. A lot of people like the demo discs because of the demos. That's why they're called the demo discs. I mean, I like also seeing trailers on there too for games that aren't far long enough to have a demo, but I love seeing trailers on there too, but those are available off Xbox Live also. So my main question being is, how are magazine companies going to keep these demo discs coming? I mean, what are they going to have to offer us to make them appealing to me to buy a subscription to a magazine? I don't even bother spending the $8 to $10 they cost off the newsstand. It's just not worth it. I always go the subscription route. $25 a year ain't too bad, especially considering all those demo discs you get. But if almost all the content's available for free off Xbox Live, I know my subscription's coming up in just a couple months for official Xbox magazine, and right now I'm not all that tempted to renew it. Well, I know they do a little bit of extra developer interviews and some other random trailers and stuff, but I want to see some other extra stuff on the demo discs that will keep me interested to renew my subscription. They gotta really up the content level on them. I mean, I can understand for people who don't have Xbox Live Gold, or actually, no, you could download this stuff for free even if you got Xbox Live Silver, who don't have online, and they got a outlet for the demos that they usually wouldn't have. But let's face it, a lot of people have broadband now than compared to 5 years ago. Yeah, I want to see them add a lot of new content. And one thing that the official Xbox magazine disc does do that I like, they kind of got this thing now where they got OXM achievement points. They don't affect your real gamer score. They're only for the demo discs. You get more OXM quote-unquote achievement points as you play more demos and watch each trailer. And once you get 1,000 points, you get some gamer picks or some extra never exclusive picks to that disc you can't find anywhere else, which is kind of cool. I like adding the gamer picks and I use them to change up my avatar. So I want to see some more stuff like that, some more extra gamer developer interviews, stuff along that lines to get the demo discs more appealing, gives me more of a reason to renew my subscription to OXM. I really like the magazine, but demo discs are the big perk and why I like subscribing to them. So Microsoft, if you hear this, do something to make those demo discs a little more appealing to me, please. Alright, I think that dragged on a little bit too long. Next topic I want to talk about is a little news article that kind of caught my attention. And I usually don't like focusing on just news segments for this show, make it seem like another gaming podcast out there, but they kind of got me thinking about some other stuff I wanted to bring up. And I saw a news article. It said the DS Lite, the new DS Lite Nintendo shipped out last month. There is starting to get reports popping up on internet forums and from other users in the gaming community saying the hinges are popping off. They're cracking. I was thinking to myself, well, I just spent all this money for a DS Lite and was mainly held out knowing that a remake of the DS was coming out for so long, and I don't want it or just have it have some crappy defect, but this just doesn't add up. I know Nintendo is really known for making durable systems. They're very hard to break, and they can withhold a lot of damage. Like, I've heard stories of people dropping their systems so many times, their Game Boys or even GameCubes taking a lot of damage, and they still come out working them. I do got one little semi-interesting story that can relate to this. What happened was, I just had my Game Boy, the original big-ass blocky Game Boy. I got it for Christmas. Not even a week after I got this Game Boy, I was probably 10, 11 years old. We were just leaving someplace, I forget where. I was a little kid, and we were just leaving, it was probably a restaurant or somewhere. I had my Game Boy in my pocket, and as I was opening the door to get in the vehicle, and as I was sitting down, as I shut the door, the Game Boy, somehow, the big-ass blocky thing that probably was snug into my jeans, fell as I was shutting the door. It hit the screen, and there's this big-ass crack in the screen that left from the indentation of the door slamming into the screen. There's a big black spot all over the screen, except for like maybe the corner of each side. However, the system still turned on, and it still worked. And I remember I got a new Game Boy game for Christmas, and I had tried playing this game with only 10% of the screen, and it was kind of a sad sight to see, but the system still worked. And it's just kind of odd to hear that durable of a portable system would all of a sudden have hinges breaking off this soon. I think Nintendo would have did better testing of their product. So right now I'm just going to judge these as bogus rumors going on. Maybe just some PSP fanboys are just trying to stir up a little controversy in the handheld scene, but we'll see what happens. Hopefully they're false. Alrighty. Next thing I want to touch on is Oblivion. Yes, this game has received a lot of attention, and now it's already been out for a while. But one thing about the game that kind of not annoyed me, or irritated, that's not the right word, but it's the first one that comes to mind, is I notice when I'm in conversations with characters, I really like the voice acting and the dialogue. It's really good. But the thing that kind of just grows on me is while they're talking and all, you just see their face and like their upper shoulders and them talking, their lips, and their face is static. You don't see it moving that much at all, their body. And it just kind of doesn't do it for me. I mean, I like to see the bodies moving along with what they're talking, kind of to make it adds more to the story. A game that did this great for me was Baldur's Gate Dark Alliance 1 and 2 and Champions of Norath on the PS2. The bodies would move and kind of choreograph with how they're talking, and you'd like see their hands wave and all, and you wouldn't think that would add much to the immerse you into the story, but it does. And I just really want to see, every time I would watch a dialogue scene, that kind of just kind of grow on me. It's just like, damn it, I'm tired of watching the static face talk. Just move, damn it, and help use your body language to help explain what you're saying. I just want to see more games do that. I don't want to see it just cut to a static face of it moving. I don't know, I'm probably rambling. You guys are just wondering what the hell I'm talking about, but if you can get any gist of that, I don't know if it's just me, if you guys have thought about that too, but yeah, maybe it's something I could see in future Elder Scrolls games. It's just the one thing that kind of stands out about it that kind of takes away from the game for me. This week, well, as I'm recording this week, it'll probably be a couple of weeks before this is posted, but NCAA Football 07 just shipped for Xbox 360, PS2, and PSP. And the one thing I want to talk about that game is how it features the ESPN license. And the thing about it is, well, it doesn't really feature it. To me, it's more of an afterthought than how the 2K Sports games featured it really integrated it into its presentation. I always really liked how on the old ESPN 2K games, they used it for their sports overlays in game, and for the menus they really added it in there. They had the whole Sports Center to the NFL 2K franchise mode. I loved watching the Sports Center highlights. And in NCAA Football 07, this is all you get of the ESPN license. They use the bottom part. They have a ticker, which adds, if you got an online connection going on, you can get real life sports scores on the bottom of the ticker while you play a game. And sure, it's kind of cool, but come on, it's not that big of a deal as it was, say, a few years ago. Sure, it's neat and all, but you want more. And the only other thing they give you more is they got, if you played NCAA football before and then Dynasty mode, the past few years they got a magazine in there covering like your stats and key stories of the week. In NCAA Football 2004, I think it was Sports Illustrated, and last year I think it was Sporting News. This year it's ESPN, the magazine, where you can access it for your dynasty stats and just quick stuff like that. But other than that, that's about all you get for the ESPN license. I'm really disappointed. EA's sticking to their not so spectacular looking EA style menus for sports scores and sports overlays. It just doesn't add to the presentation. That's why I loved playing the 2K sports games. That's why I don't play them that much anymore. I didn't pick up any of the 2K6 games because the ESPN presentation just added so much for me. And now that they're gone, I hate looking at those generic overlays for scores and replay transitions. It just doesn't do it for me. I just want to see EA integrated better into their games and the lackluster job they're doing it now. I don't know why they're not doing it. I just want to see something better. It's pretty crummy. That about does it for all the main topics I want to talk about for the show. I know it's probably going to be a bit of a shorter show, but doing this on my own is kind of new for me, so I don't want to ramble on too long. But before I go, I want to just give out a few acknowledgments that I always wanted to do, but finally had the proper chance to do what I thought during a solo show. But the main part of the show is done. Most of you probably don't want to hear these, so you can just go ahead and skip it. Thanks for listening. But for those of you still here, I just want to give out a few thanks for all the people that make this show possible. I know it's not, I know this ain't the best gaming podcast out there, and there's a lot of other better ones, but we're trying our best. We're trying our VGPub.com. What we want to do is we want to deliver an alternative gaming podcast. There's many other ones that deliver the news and all the current stories in the gaming world really well, and we just don't want to be another one out there cluttering the space. So we will focus more on gaming discussion and analyzing just current things with, a different take on it. So I just want to say give a shout out and thanks to Chris for editing these shows. I know he spends a lot of time. As I said, he hasn't been getting around doing as much because he's been pretty busy lately, but he spends a lot of time editing these shows, hours on end doing it. So just thanks for editing these shows, man. Appreciate it a lot. And without our main host for VGPub.com, John, who's been on the show before, you heard him. He's the one who gives us the server space that takes up the bandwidth for downloading the show. I just want to say thanks for allowing us to host this show. And the rest of the VG Pub staff, they could do a good job updating the site with news, reviews, everything. Jake, Adam, James, Jeremy, Ash, Phil, everyone else, thanks, guys. I want to say, give another thanks and another acknowledgement for past guest hosts and weren't part of the site. Brett from the Wicked Pizza Podcast, Scott from InsidePulse.com, and my brother Joe, even though he wasn't really the best guest, it was still a blast to have on. And anyone else I'm missing, I'm sorry, but and I know I want to give a big thanks to you guys for bearing with us for those first few horrible shows we did. And I tried listening to one just a few days ago, and that crappy microphone I was using when we first started out, and just having an echo in there. And those first few shows, listening to them, they were horrible, but they were a learning experience, and I was glad I did them. And show still isn't anywhere near perfect, but it's a lot better than where we were when we first started the first couple episodes. But that's about it. Well, I think we're about done for this show. Thanks again for listening. Sure to drink your game away at vgpub.com. If you got any feedback, questions, complaints, send your email to mailbag@vgpub.com. I'll most likely read your comments on the air. So, that does it. Thanks again, and we'll see you next time. Now, you didn't think that would really be all for this show, would you? That short of a show? Give me a break. Actually, I had this little extra bonus 2-minute segment I had lying around. I didn't know when I was going to use it. Chris and I were pitching around doing like some kind of bonus show, but I figured since this was such a short show, I'd use it here. What it is, it's a little 2-minute quick little audio interview. I interviewed some random guy at work. He's about 40 years old. And I thought it'd be a nice, interesting perspective to get his view. He says he used to play games back in the old arcade days and why he doesn't play games now. I kind of only had my little 5 gigabyte MP3 player, which has a voice recorder function. So the audio quality really isn't the greatest, but you can still make out what he's saying. But that's why it's a bonus and not part of the main show. So with that, enjoy. I am with Steve. He used to play games. He's a coworker of mine, and I'm going to talk to him a little bit about games and see what he'd do to get him to play games again. Steve, what games did you play when you grew up?
Asteroids, Time Pilot, Galactica, Pac-Man, Donkey Kong, all the old ones, old school.
So all the arcade classics, right?
Pretty much all the arcade classics. I haven't played the newer stuff. Haven't played for quite a few years.
Why did you get out of games?
Just didn't have time. All I did it when I was just in junior high and when I was younger, and I lived in a small town, didn't have nothing else to do, so just was up at the arcade playing all day long on weekends.
So, like, did the games get boring for you, or did you just kind of grow out of them?
Well, they got boring. I got really good at them, and then I kind of grew out of them and never got into the newer stuff. Everybody's, it's been a while since I played, like I said. These newer game systems are a little bit harder.
Well, like Nintendo's new system coming out, it's trying to change that for their goal. They want it so they can get the family back into the gaming room, simplify things, make it so much easier to pick up and play so the whole family can play it. They got a thing where their controllers now looks like a remote control, where wherever you aim it at the screen and how you press the buttons is how you move your character. Like they got a tennis game, and how you move the controller is like how you swing the racket. And like a golf game that does the same thing, and a racing game, kind of the same thing, is they're trying to change the way you play games. Would that kind of interest you if you get back into games for your family and yourself?
Yes, if they made it something like that, it probably would be if it went back to the older school stuff. I enjoyed playing the games when I did. It was a great pastime.
Awesome. Thanks for your time, Steve. You rule.
Thanks, Dale. Appreciate it.